Hi everyone. So today I'd like to speak about the desire for enlightenment and how we can easily fall into this desire and really lose our direction. And suddenly our so-called spiritual path, it just becomes another desire to chase an object, the idea of enlightenment. And we hear about it from the teachers. We hear all these stories about enlightenment and freedom, and it's so appealing to us that we really want it. But we have to be very careful there. And I'm going to explain to you what it's all about. So, at the beginning, there's a longing from our soul, a longing from the heart to reach unity and completion. And then we go and we read books, we sit in front of teachers, and so easily, so in a very subtle way, it becomes another desire of our mind, of our egoic self, another desire to acquire an object, acquire something that will make him satisfied, that will make him happy. Because our egoic self is fragmented. It feels constantly feels a sense of lack. So, what is the right way? Because that's what I want to explain to you. How do we basically walk on our path? Yeah, that is a journey, yet not fall into the desiring mind. So, what we're trying to realize is that ourselves as consciousness, a subject behind everything, there is already here, but from some kind of a mysterious reason, there is a path to it, a path in time to reach the timeless. That's how it is. So what do we do? How do we prevent ourselves from falling into this desiring mind? So I'll tell you what I used to do, what was my way. I used enlightenment, the understanding of enlightenment, just as a how do you say, inspiration. It was good to understand what enlightenment is. Yeah, it was good to understand all the details about enlightenment in order to understand where I am with myself now, today, at this moment, to clarify things for myself. Enlightenment wasn't for me something to aspire to. It was just a good reference to understand where I am. And what was important for me was to understand where I am and how to deepen or so-called crystallize the space of where I am. So I had an understanding about enlightenment, and then I could, from that understanding, I could differentiate between the egoic self, the soul, consciousness. I could start understanding what it is, and therefore clarify things for myself on my journey. But enlightenment was never an object that I aspired to. I didn't give my mind this power to aspire to this particular object. This is the danger. When you aspire to reach this object, then you lose touch of where you are with yourself. So let's say you deepen your connection to silence, you meditate more, you start to differentiate between your egoic self and your true self. Yeah, you start to understand what is what, and this already gives you a spaciousness and freedom, and it just feels good. So when you're really sincere and you really pay attention to where you are, then it's sufficient. It feel every step that you take is already a quantum leap from the step where you were before. And if you really value it, then the expansion continues. So the importance is to value where you are and not have the desire to reach anywhere, because then it takes you away from yourself. So, like I said, the understanding has to help you become rooted in where you are, yeah, and helps you stay where you are. And if you really cherish where you are and you give it value, yeah, then it just deepens. It just expands and deepens. When you start to give consciousness its value, when you constantly direct your attention to consciousness, you direct your consciousness, and you give it value. This is consciousness. This is the mind. This is consciousness. And you energetically deepen your connection to consciousness. You do your meditation. You take your walks in the park. And when you do that, it feels good. Believe me, if you'll do that, you won't have the space in your head, the desire to be anywhere, because you'll be sufficient. You'll be sufficient. You won't care about enlightenment. But what happens when you identify with your mind and you fall into desiring mind of enlightenment, it takes you away from yourself, and then it strengthens your desire for enlightenment even more, because you disconnect, and it's like a snowball. Disconnected, disconnecting, chasing more and chasing more. And you're becoming a miserable seeker. But if you really value where you are, even after the first meditation class, the first meditation class, you have a little touch of silence. You really value it? That is enough. That is enough. You value it, and then again, and you value it, it deepens even more because you give it more value. You're giving it more of a recognition. And this is what you have. Enlightenment, the idea in the head about enlightenment, it's just words. You don't have anything. But the spaciousness, the rest, the silence, you have it. It's physically. You feel it. You know it. All this spiritual philosophy is just chatter in the mind. In a way, you only need to hear it once. You only need to hear a teacher say it once, and that's it. Throw it away. And then maybe use the teacher or the books to clarify where you are. But to desire it, to go and hear it again and again and again about enlightenment, how great it is, it's a curse, I tell you. It's a curse. You forget to value the space of where you are. You forget to cherish the silence and the softness that you start to discover as your true self. Suddenly you discover, hey, there's something more to me than the egoic self. So this is where you have to go. You have to just deepen. You have to just deepen the connection to what you start to discover as yourself. And over there's no philosophy, there's no description, there's no all the words that you hear about enlightenment from teachers, all this philosophy. Suddenly, when you start to touch the real, authentic space, you see that they are still far away from what you're starting to realize, because words are so limited. So we have to use words to give an understanding as much as we can. But this understanding is very general. You cannot describe it. You cannot describe enlightenment. You cannot describe consciousness. Impossible. It's impossible. But what you can do is clarify things for people that they will go on the so-called right path and won't fall into the egoic self on the way. That's what can be done. So always see when you're on the spiritual path, when suddenly the egoic self hijacks your spiritual path and wants to become enlightened, is impatient. He wants to be there. He wants the fireworks, and the softness and the silence that you're starting to experience is not enough for him. So see that, when you're touching a real space within yourself, and you say to yourself, "Oh, what? This is it," this is truth. And then you fall into the egoic mind of wanting some fireworks. But who says this is it? The mind again. Because he cannot really keep his aliveness there. He's losing his center. But this is it. Silence, intimacy, love. That is impersonal. Not even yours. And like they say, in the day of celebration, the celebrator is not there. When you realize yourself as consciousness, you cannot even celebrate it. So yeah. Very important to see how easily it is to fall into the desiring mind of enlightenment and wanting the quick way, the quick path to realize. But who's the one who wants the quick path? If not the egoic self. When you're resting in softness and intimacy, you don't care about, well, what's the quick path? It's enough where I am. Only when you're disconnected, you want the quick path. If you come out of a so-called yoga class or a nice walk in the park and you feel silent, in intimacy, your mind is quiet, do you feel like chasing anything? Do you feel like chasing some idea about enlightenment? You feel good, you feel your body, you feel vitality, you feel silence, you feel intimacy. Yeah? You start to know yourself, something else than the mind itself. It seems crazy to chase some kind of an idea in the head. All you have to do is just relax into your own breath and it's all there. Again, you can easily fall into not being enough, the space of not being enough, wanting more and more. Again, an egoic space. I'm not enough, I want to be enlightened. Cherish what you have. Cherish every step you take. Every step you take is a quantum leap. And when you cherish it, life will naturally deepen your connection to who you truly are, and that's it. And from this space, there's no room for words, only silence. Okay, so thank you.